Hello everybody, Ben Rogers here, the Raptors Digest, reacting to some Toronto Raptors news. And Riker, DeMar DeRozan, the man that's making that layup behind me, spoke out about the Toronto Raptors once again in an interview, and the quotes are going around. We said we'd have to react to them on this video, give our reaction, because the story about DeMar DeRozan getting traded, more and more info gets shed light on it every time he speaks out on it, and this one was particularly interesting with Draymond Green and his weird comments that he made. But Riker, how many times are we going to get this story told from DeMar DeRozan?
At least one time too many, Ben, is what we're getting from this. He's switched franchises twice now, but still is asked about the Toronto days, which is obviously where he built the foundation of his career, and hopefully he can have more success on the Bulls and move along. I think that fans have treated DeMar with the utmost respect since he got traded in, not the nicest fashion, but obviously that's the brutal nature of NBA basketball. So let's hear. I haven't seen this yet, so what you're telling me, I'll react to it in live time and form my impression of it.
It's the reaction. We wanted to get that reaction, but essentially Draymond Green interviewed, and we'll get to the DeMar stuff before Draymond Green's weird comments that he made on the city of Toronto, but essentially asked once again, as DeMar does in every interview that's over 5 minutes long, about how he felt when he was traded and what really happened. So apparently DeMar DeRozan was sitting in a theater watching Equalizer 2, right? And he gets a bunch of calls from Masai Ujiri, and he answers and he texts them, please call when you can, and they're going back and forth, missing each other's calls. And then Masai Ujiri, they finally get on the phone, and Masai Ujiri says, "Oh, how's the movie?" So DeMar DeRozan thinks it's chill, he thinks it's all good. He gets in his car and he's talking to Masai, and then Masai essentially comes out and says, "You've been traded to the San Antonio Spurs," where DeMar DeRozan leaves and essentially says he was sitting in front of a Del Taco for 2 hours, called two people, Kyle Lowry and Rudy Gay. Apparently Kyle Lowry had no idea what was going on and was extremely frustrated, while Rudy Gay was just laughing at him and excited to see DeMar DeRozan come to the San Antonio Spurs. But DeMar DeRozan once again said he felt like he was blindsided. He was building something in Toronto, and apparently it was just 2 days before. We knew the information came out prior that Masai Ujiri told him earlier in the summer he wasn't going to get traded, but apparently it was 2 days before that Masai Ujiri essentially said, "You're not going to get traded." They had a dinner down in Las Vegas and were planning what they were doing for this next season. Riker, we've heard bits and pieces of this story over the past few years, but it seems like we're getting a full picture, at least from DeMar DeRozan's side of things right now. What are your thoughts of this story from DeMar DeRozan?
Well, it's nothing new, Ben, right? Like you said, we've heard this. We've heard it with elements added, subtracted, whatever. There's always three sides to the story: DeMar, Masai, the truth. And I don't think it paints Masai as a villain in this story, because again, the nature of the NBA is that teams engage with teams, owners engage with owners over trades sporadically. And you see it, the situation right now with Daryl Morey and trying to offload Ben Simmons desperately, to the point that Ben Simmons is like, "I thought I would be traded. I'm going to come back because I'm sick of losing money." So I'm sure that, well, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm 99% confident from what we know about Masai that 2 days before trading DeMar, probably had no idea that Kawhi Leonard was on the table, right?
We can look back to our videos, Riker, breaking down all of the news and the reported betting odds-on favorites to acquire Kawhi Leonard and that DeMar DeRozan.
But none of that was, it's a for sure going to happen. And perhaps from Masai Ujiri's perspective, it was a hard no until they looked at the rest of the offers on the table and said, the only one that makes sense when Kawhi Leonard is practically on his way out the door is this Toronto trade. So even though we rejected it 2 days ago, we're offering it to you again, one-time only deal. Masai says, "I got to do it." I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt here just because we've heard it from DeMar. I'm sick of hearing it at this point, Ben. And yeah, he got traded. Half the NBA players get traded. Only 3 or 4, a handful of guys ever finish their careers on the same team. Move on, grow up, build a bridge, get over it. Be an all-star in a different team. You didn't even make the all-star as a San Antonio Spurs. So I'm tired of this narrative, Ben.
Well, that's fair. And Well, just to back DeMar a little bit, I scanned through the videos. I remember posting them because I had a Photoshop that went viral of Kawhi in a Raptors jersey that was still used even when he was on the team. So that's how one of my best Photoshops of Kawhi Leonard. But regardless, I digress. It was about a week or so that the rumors, the news picked up about DeMar DeRozan or about a Kawhi Leonard trade, and essentially everything that we broke down, DeMar DeRozan was going to have to be a part of that package. Now, the night before it all happened, the package was rumored to be Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, and DeMar DeRozan, which would have been an absolute travesty for the Toronto Raptors to complete. However, I'm assuming if the rumors were happening for that long, and to make the money work, Lowry's trade value wasn't that high at that point, and you weren't going to be able to just sell the young guys just due to their contracts only being on rookie scale. DeMar DeRozan would have had to have been a part of that trade. So I can see where it's happened. Probably a bit of a new move for Masai Ujiri to take him out to dinner a couple days before and plan things. I remember Nick Nurse came out with a quote too, saying he's going to get DeMar DeRozan to really try and lock in as a defender this season. Now, I'm sure Nick Nurse didn't have a massive part in negotiating trades or among other things. However, that's sort of the timeline that we get into. But as you said, this has been talked about a bunch. DeMar DeRozan, we know he still loves the city, he loves the fans, he loves the Raptors, even if apparently fences were mended or hearts were mended with Masai Ujiri. DeMar went in, asked about the kids and all those sorts of things the season after, and then he won't even say his name on a Shannon Sharp podcast a couple months ago. So we don't know how that relationship is, but I don't expect DeMar DeRozan to be back with the Raptors anytime soon. He's with Chicago. Things have been built. But Riker, the things with Draymond Green, I told you this before the podcast. Should I sound off on his quote essentially about the city of Toronto?
Do it, my man.
Yeah, because Draymond Green, this is the one that honestly I'd rather have react to, because we've talked about DeMar DeRozan's comments multiple times, but Draymond Green essentially said, well, DeMar DeRozan was saying, I'm trying to build a culture here, I'm trying to build something, with the Raptors, which he certainly did, and he dragged the Raptors from the ground up and took us out of the shadow realm. But Draymond Green essentially said, yeah, no, and if you look at Toronto, even the city 13 years ago, it definitely wasn't Americanized. It wasn't really, that was his quote. 13 years ago, Toronto wasn't Americanized. It was really developed and among such things. And Riker, how stupid is that?
It's pretty stupid, full stop, when all of our culture, everything is from America. We have literally the CBC, the Canadian Broadcast Commission, which has to force Canadian content into the media and regulate certain channels, because all of our networks are all American television, American programming. I think his greater point is probably that basketball, well, that's probably not his greater point, actually. He was making just a very blanket biased statement with no...
Because it was talking about how
to back it up.
There's French in the airport and these sorts of things. Like, do these people think Toronto was just a little town or something before Drake popped off with Take Care or something like that? Like, that's the picture I get.
The implication, I would assume, is that DeMar did
just
bring in this American culture.
DeMar was also I kind of agree.
That's dumb. But the point is, the Raptors didn't really make the playoffs before Kyle Lowry came. So you can't even put credit for the success of the team on DeMar DeRozan. He was the A guy, but Kyle was always the leader of the team. And of course, for popularity, fandom, everything, the influence that basketball has had over the entire country of Canada is in large part because of the success of the Toronto Raptors. So I won't take that away from DeMar DeRozan making this a perennial playoff team. And of course, he's a big part of that. But to say anything beyond the actual culture of basketball among the nation is a huge stretch, and it makes no sense, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. And we don't have to overreact to these comments too much, but just definitely wanted to sound off. A couple people sent us the interview, so we had to react to it. But Riker, lots of things to plug. We launched our Discord yesterday, so the link will be down below, and joining the Discord. Riker, we got to get you on that scene. I don't really know what it's all about, but I've been working on it. Got to get you signed up, but Josh and I have been rocking out. As you can see, there's some merch that can be flexed if you guys want to join some OG's merch. right? Scope that out, the spread shops down below. And you can also join the channel membership. Lots of fun things. We had our fantasy draft yesterday, so lots of stuff happened. Lots of movement. I even made a little trade, which I'm sure we'll update in the next live stream we have going. But check us out on Instagram, the Twitter, all that, TikTok, all that cool stuff. You guys are the best for making this far. Riker, you have any last words on DeMar and Draymond Green's interview?
Goodbye and good riddance, man. Cheers.